Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of, can you believe it, September. Baffling. I hope you will. I'm using the Crow Tarot for you today. I'll wait for the cauldron to burn down and then I'll close the window. Yeah, let's get on with your reading. Can I have 3 cards for Taurus, please? Try that again properly. 3 cards for Taurus, please. Oh, that's the first one. We have the Chariot in your recent past. Kind energy for Taurus, please. King of Pentacles. I'd like to see that for you, Taurus, as it is a Taurus card. It's coming towards Taurus for September, please. Whoa, what do we have here? 6 of Wands. Oh, goodness. What a nauseatingly positive read. Right, we've got the 8 of Wands in the reverse at the bottom of the deck. That's interesting. We'll come back to that. Let's get some clarifiers. No. Really? Not one of you want to clarify? Oh, okay, we're going to go with the Tarot of the Abyss. All right. So, tell me about the Chariot, please. We have the 7 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords. We have the King of Pentacles. Thank you. 6 of Cups. 4 of Wands, Page of Cups. I like that. And the 6 of Wands. What's this here for Taurus, please? 4 of Cups and 9 of Pentacles. Who? More shifts for you, Taurus. This is really intriguing. Like, every reading that I've done for September so far has seen like big leaps for each of the signs. So let's start off with the Chariot here. Card of Cancer. One that speaks of, amongst other things, determination. Right? It is willpower. It is the self. It is you marshalling all of your resources in alignment in a particular direction. And it feels a lot like, with the 2 clarifiers that we've got underneath here, which are the 7 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords, that there's been an awareness that there is something that isn't quite working the way that you wanted it to do. Right? That's you know what we see here with the 7 of Pentacles. There's been some effort put into something, but I think you've intuited that there's a decision that needs to be made, or that there was a decision that needed to be made, because this is your recent past. Let's get that window shut. But there was indecision. And what I'm not sure about is whether the indecision was on what it was that was actually not quite right, or what to do about that thing that you have seen is not quite right. Because there's a different sort of circumstances there. The Chariot indicates a desire to move, right? And a desire to go forward and be victorious in a particular way. But it seems like there's some sort of fly in the ointment down here in some regard or another. I'm going to pull another card for that, because I might even pull 2. Let's have a look. That's 7 of Pentacles, please. Thank you. We have the 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups, and the Empress, which is you. So, as ever, as always, as I feel with Taurus, particularly this band of you Tauruses that I talk to, because I don't imagine that this is true across the board, but for you, the intent is always good. There's always an eye to abundance. There's always an eye to creating a more harmonious and wonderful situation for everyone. You know, the Empress is the card of Taurus, but it's also the archetypal mother, and there is something very nurturing and maternal about the way that you look after your tribe. Right? So the intent is very good. It's very strong. But there's been something here that's caused you some amount of confusion. in a situation that you found yourself in. Now this Five of Swords and Seven of Cups, actually the Five of Swords doesn't feel like you at all. The Five of Swords feels like it's the behaviour of someone else. And I just looked over there because at the bottom of the Tower of the Abyss is also the Five of Swords. Now in the Thoth, I'm sure the Five of Swords is Lord of Cruelty. And we definitely see an element of that here in this scene. It's quite unpleasant, actually. I don't really like it very much. That isn't you. This feels like a slowly creeping awareness that there is someone or a situation in your midst that isn't quite as it appears. You know, there are undertones here of quite a grubby, nasty energy. And it seems like the confusion, as we see here in the Two of Swords and the Seven of Cups, is you knowing what to do about it. Because you want to do the right thing and you want to change this situation, but for some reason, we've got this Queen of Cups here. Ooh, and the Hierophant, or the Wise One as it is behind that, right? The Queen of Cups feels very much like your approach to this situation, and it is underpinned by the Hierophant underneath there. So like we've got all of the cards that indicate Taurus appearing on the table here. There's something that's stopping you from dealing with this situation quite as directly as you would like to. And it feels like there are emotions involved somewhere. Now, for example, this could be a friend that you've known for a very long time, you know, and you've seen each other through quite a bit of things, but there's just recently, there's been something that's been a little bit off. It feels like your Taurian intuition has been kind of like going, there's a slight feeling of discomfort, and it could be with a person or it could be with a situation, but it seems to me that there's this burgeoning knowing that there's something about this that is not quite what it appears. And maybe, you know, a particular response that you used to just laugh off or not pay much attention to, you're kind of tuned into now, and you're like, where is that coming from? Why is it there? Okay. What I don't feel is you bringing this into yourself and being in a kind of situation of like, what have I done wrong in this sort of situation? It's not about that, and I like the fact that you're not doing that, obviously, Taurus, because it is something that you would have done in the past. However, we can't get away from the fact that there are strong feelings around this person, and it feels like, although we don't see it here, it does feel like there is conflict within you about the best way to deal with this situation. We move into your current energy. We've got the King of Pentacles, and I like this, obviously, because it's a Taurus card and you are Taurus. Oh, but there's something very subtle going on underneath the scenes, or underneath something, behind the scenes, underneath the surface here. And what is important for you to notice at this point, Taurus, is that this isn't actually about the situation itself. Now, I watched a video by Radiant Reality yesterday on YouTube. If you've not ever checked him out, you should do, because he's an excellent reader. And he was talking about collapsing timelines. And this is interesting because this is something that I've been alluding to for a couple of months now, about this attempting to write a new story with an old script, right? And us not quite knowing the ways in which we were kind of recycling old stuff and trying to pay it forward into a new version of a story that we were writing for ourselves. But he captured it beautifully with that one phrase, collapsing timelines. That seems to be what is going on for you here, because underneath this King of Pentacles, which is you, upright and strong and exactly as you should be, but also with that kind of that tender provision that Taurus is renowned for. We've got the Six of Cups, the Four of Wands, and the Page of Cups. And this Six of Cups specifically speaks to the past, right? Your memory of the past. But I'm feeling myself drawn back to this reading, and I'll link it below for anybody who wants to go and see it, that there is, at this point here, right now, an open window for collapsing old timelines. Something about this situation is very similar to one that you have been in before. But what you are being gifted here with is an opportunity to do it differently, and so, by definition, collapse an old timeline. Now, when you do that, it ripples forwards into your present, and it changes the present, and then obviously, you know, by extension, the future too. It's funny, it does have shades of Mercury retrograde about this, but it's not time for Mercury retrograde yet. The Six of Cups as opposed to the Four of Wands, we've got backwards and forwards energy here, right? So the Six of Cups is the past. It is the situation as it is here. But the Four of Wands is the creation of a new foundation. So you've done a lot of work over the last 18 months on yourselves, and you're much better with boundaries and things like that. You're not over-investing in the way that you used to at all. And there has been a sense that the experience of being you, Taurus, is very, very different now to how it was a couple of years ago. But there are shades of this situation here that you've been in a state of kind of like, about, that is giving you a perfect opportunity to do things differently. Now, I feel like the fact that this is kind of tugging on you at all is super, super important, because in the past it would not have tugged on you. You would have just internalized it, and you would have made it, you know, some sort of fault in you. But because you are now so strong, and because you are now, you know, increasingly self-possessed and self-assured, it's enough to go, there's something about this situation that makes me uncomfortable, and I'm not sure what it is, but it needs addressing. I don't quite know how to address it, but address it I need to. The mere fact that you're having that kind of thought process is an indication of how far you've come in the first sense. But it's also, for me, an indication that you will do this differently this time. Now, it could be in the past that actually, you know, you just cut people off at a certain point, and maybe that's not what this needs. Maybe what this needs is somewhat of a gentler approach. But then I don't feel like it is. I feel like the acceptance, as indicated by the Page of Cups here for you, is an acceptance that you may need to do something that actually troubles you emotionally, but that you know that it's for the right reasons. Right? When we see these kind of situations coming up, it's often because we've outgrown the people that we've been surrounded with. And I said initially it felt like it was a situation that had existed for a long time, and so there was this kind of built-in kind of loyalty to this person, whether or not, or situation, whether or not it actually deserved to have that. Apparently nobody in Northumberland can speak quietly, they all have to bellow. Tell me about the Six of Cups, Four of Wands and Page of Cups, please. Thank you. We have the King of Swords, right? And what are you? And the Judgment card here in the reverse. And the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, this is really interesting with the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The time has come for you to make a decision. The fact that you understand that there's a decision to be made, like I said, is a big thing in and of itself. But there is, with the King of Swords, always an element of pushing emotions to one side, because for whatever reason, emotions are not important in the making of this decision. Now, like, I don't know, I've spoken before about, I used to fall in love with potential, and I swore you know, a little while ago, that I would never do that again. I would always judge people on their actions in the here and now, rather than what I could see beyond it. Because actually, you know, as much as being able to stare into somebody's soul is a blessing in a lot of ways, if you're not fully sorted and fully healed in yourself, it means that you just fall headlong for what you can see, but they don't choose to show to people, right? So I'm just like, right, I don't care if I can see your potential, I want to see what you fucking do with it first before I invest anything in a situation. Now with you, Taurus, it's like the passing of time in relationships, in work situations, maybe, you know, anything that's kind of been standing for a long time that you feel like will stand forever because it's standing now and it's stood for all of this time before. You know, it often gives you specifically, this kind of, yeah, loyalty. Loyalty is the best word, right? Which stops you from looking at what is being exercised in the here and now. Is this person worthy of your attention? Is this person worthy of the amount of loyalty that you feel towards the situation? And I do feel that there's a strong sense of that here. It's kind of like, put all of your emotional attachment to this situation to the side and have a look at how this person is behaving, because I think actually the decision will be very, very easy for you to make once you look at it in that way, because the past cannot be allowed to repeat. Even though there are echoes of it right here, and this is what's kind of chiming this feeling of discomfort with you, we've got the Judgment card in reverse. Now, we have a judgment being made, a decision being made by this King of Swords here, but it's a decision not to allow this to repeat. It's a decision to collapse the timeline, right? I hope Radiant Reality doesn't come after me for like nicking his phrase, but he's spot on. It wasn't even a Taurus reading, it was just kind of like a general thing, but I'm seeing it playing out very, very clearly here in front of me, because what you are doing is committing to something brighter, something much more deserving of your time and care and attention. And to a degree, it might just be taking the energy that you have put into this situation, which is undeserved, and I'm deeply uncomfortable with this Five of Swords appearing twice, and particularly that depiction of it, which I think is really, really nasty. If you allow this situation to play out without sort of stepping up and going, no, that's enough, right? You've missed an opportunity to collapse a particular way that you used to do things, and taking energy away from this person who doesn't deserve it, or this situation that doesn't deserve it, or even this, you know, this job, this employer that doesn't deserve it, allows you to focus it more on the things that are important to you, those things that have shown themselves as worthy of your time and care and effort and money and whatever, you know. And that in and of itself is the creation of a new paradigm for you, because you're closing off that part of yourself. Now, it seems to me actually that you're going to do this incredibly well, Taurus, because we've got the Six of Wands here, right? That's the Leo card, but it's one that speaks of success, right? And it's success that comes by way of what you do, the actions that you take here. You are going to do the right thing, because actually who you are, Taurus, you can't help but do the right thing. And something making you uncomfortable in a kind of like, right, I need to move away from this situation, isn't enough of a justification for you not to do it anymore. Okay. and the thing that's missing is this internalization that you used to do, where you used to take responsibility for things and then make them your fault, and then you're just like, oh shit, I need to make it up to this person, rather than going and seeing that this person, situation, job, whatever, is a bit of a bad egg, you know. Because we've got the Four of Cups and we've got the Nine of Pentacles. Now, normally with the Four of Cups, we've got, uncomfortable feelings of being taken for granted and stuff like that. And I'm actually seeing it completely differently for you today, Taurus, because what I'm seeing is the act of rejection actually being something that shores you up very, very well. You know, we've got the Four of Cups and then the Nine of Pentacles here. It's about thinning out the the weeds, I guess, from your garden, is what it is. Because frankly, someone who is sitting in an energy of that, which is cruel, it just screams cruelty, the whole card. And not only that, it was at the bottom of one of the other decks as well, right? So it's appeared twice. But I come back to this Eight of Wands in reverse. Now that is communication. That is open lines of communication. For you, it's about shutting down lines of communication that are coming in. Energetic or actual, whatever way around it is. Because then we've got the Six of Swords underneath here too. You are moving away from this situation. And we've got the Ten of Cups behind that, moving towards something that is a lot more harmonious for everybody who is in it. Now, it's not something that has cropped up for you particularly as a sign, as being something that you're comfortable with, just outright rejecting people. If you get to the point where a Taurus rejects you... Sorry, that's an alarm. Then frankly, you must be worse than shit. Because Tauruses don't turn their backs on people. They are loyal to almost to a fucking fault. Well, definitely to a fault, right? No one gets left behind when Taurus is in charge. But there's an altogether more discerning energy that is trying to play out here. Because I don't feel like this person or the situation or however this is playing its way out for you, I do not feel like it's going to leave of its own volition. There's something of a limpet energy on here, but it's unpleasant and it makes me uncomfortable, and the discernment comes in here now from you knowing that it is important, where necessary, for you to move away from people who would bring this energy to your door, or people who have sat at your door for this amount of time with that energy, right? And the Four of Cups is usually a card that feels pretty uncomfortable, but actually it's just spot on. It's right here for you. It's just like, nah, done with this. I'm going to tend to my garden. I am tending to my garden in getting rid of this, in rejecting whatever this is, you know, because obviously you're standing up for yourself now. You're knowing your value, you're knowing your worth, you're knowing that you don't deserve whatever this is, and this can go. Thank you very much. You know, there's quite a lot going on here in this situation. But it feels like it's really important for you personally to take a stand here now in a way that you wouldn't have done before. Let me just pull one more card for these two here. Tell me about the products and the Nine of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. Ooh, lots of movement. Yeah, it's an act of love for yourself, Taurus, because... Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles there, right? This situation isn't cool at all. We've got the Queen of Swords underneath there, who is just like the King, ready to cut what out, you know, whatever out that needs to go. Just, oh, God. This person's a bit of an energy vampire, actually. That's how it feels. But it's an act of self-love and an act of self-liberation to gallop away from this. Like, if you let this stand, if you don't work on it, Taurus, if you don't do whatever it is that you need to do, which very much seems to be like pulling away from this altogether, then it feels a little bit like you might undo some of the good work that you've done recently. And this is absolutely not the plan for you. Like, I don't actually feel like you're going to do that anyway, because of, like I said, the fact that this is even showing up on your radar right now in the way that it is enough for you to be thinking, I'm going to have to do something about this very soon. With this Knight of Cups here, it's about the way that you express emotion, and actually it's about the way you're expressing emotion to yourself at this point. It's the way that you're taking care of yourself by going, no, Like I said, it's an act of love, even though it may feel like an act of, you know, utter disloyalty to do it. It's not. I feel like you've outgrown this situation altogether, and if you let it stand, you would be left here, but you're not going to leave it to stand, Taurus. Like, you know, you'll have victory over this situation and become more empowered and more peaceful as a result. Seems to be the message, right? I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. We're going to pull this apart. I'm going to have a look at some specifics for September. But you've got this. You really do have this. It's abundantly clear to me. So that's cool. Right. If you want to join me over at Vimeo, link is in the description box. It's the first link. The second link is for the 6-month overview. If you're not coming, that's fine. No shade. I'll see you next time. But know that I love you all very, very much. And I like this. I actually like this for you, Taurus, because it's a cleansing your space kind of energy, and that's really good. Anyway, know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.